My name is Robert DeSantis, and I'm bringing you the history of the World Cup. Classic clapping. I worked 6 years professionally in soccer as well as for the U.S. national team, which obviously gave me some interest in why the World Cup was and what it is today. Basically, the decision was in 1929 in the Olympic Games for the United States not to have soccer in it. They felt that soccer was not a big sport in the United States, so they took it out. This gave FIFA the chance to really begin focusing on the world game, which in their decision in 1929 to have Uruguay host the first World Cup ever in their country. The main reason why Uruguay was chosen to host is because they offered to pay for everybody to attend it. Basically, money talks, and that was their decision. So it didn't cost any team to travel to South America to attend the games. And at that time, they had 13 teams that were going to be in the game. 7 from South America, 3 from Europe, and then 2 from North America. Basically, this is the whole history of the games, from 1930 till present day of who's won. And boy, was that fast. And as you can see, it's a world game. And you have countries from all over the world participating. So every 4 years, basically, they kind of did it very similar to the Olympic structure. Old soccer travel, it's a beautiful thing. "13 teams, 3 continents. The first goal ever scored was from Lucien Laurent of France. And the first final was between Argentina and Uruguay, 4-2 finish. There was actually 93,000 fans in that stadium. And back in 1930, to get 93,000 people together anywhere in a stadium is a pretty big feat. So that kind of proved to everybody the largest of the game worldwide. Next, first World Cup issues. Obviously, 1930, there weren't airplanes that could travel people across the world very quickly. Basically, it was by ship. Intercontinental travel became an issue. The war beginning of World War II, the boycott of the 34 and 38 games from the South American teams, because both games were held in Europe, and they didn't feel it was necessary for them to both travel over there 8 years running. So Brazil was actually the only team to travel there for both those games. And obviously the 42 and 46 games canceled because of the war-torn Europe and the aftermath. So basically the world was without the World Cup in soccer for 12 years, until 1950. 1950 was the first time British teams got back into the World Cup. They boycotted it in 1920 because they felt the South Americans were taking over the game and they didn't want to be a part of it. So in 1946, FIFA petitioned them, invited them back, and they actually said yes. So 4 years later, they were back in the World Cup. And Uruguay returned after their boycott as well, because they boycotted because obviously Europe was getting all the games. It was kind of a cat and mouse game. And in 1950, it was a Uruguay-Brazilian final. It was actually the best game in the history of the World Cup was seen in that 1950 final. Next, the expansion begins. As you can see, in 1930 there was only 13 teams, and by 1982 there was 24. The reason being is more countries were getting involved. FIFA was allowing them to be a part of it. In order to be in the World Cup, FIFA has to invite you into the club. 16 years later, it expanded to 32 teams. As it stands right now, there's 198 nations that FIFA recognizes as of 2006, and as of today, 204 nations. So that's why now, whereas in the 30s it was 4 years, you have to qualify. Qualifying in the 1930s took 6 months. Now it takes 3 years to knock it down to 32 teams. Basically, global popularity is going to continue to grow. They estimate that 255 countries will be in the World Cup by 2020. So they're estimating that's going to take the better part of 3.5 years to finish qualification. And just for statistics, 715 million people watched the final in 2006. They estimate it to be close to 1 billion this year in South Africa. As you can see, it's a world game.
This summer, 31 countries will FIFA World Cup on ESPN, coming in June.
Yep, thank you for listening. I appreciate it.